In this video, I'll share with you what I think are the 10 biggest reasons to buy and not to buy the Huawei GT3. To be specific, I'll be talking about the 46mm version, and because you might also be considering the Garmin Venue 2 and Apple Watch, I'll do some quick comparisons too. Just a quick disclaimer, no money change hands for this video. I've got a retail set from Huawei Singapore, and I have to return to them after this. They also told me I'm free to share my thoughts. So a big thank you to them as well as those who help us make it possible by commenting on our first gear review. Keep our feedback coming, it helps us pitch to more companies to get gear to review, and also motivates us to improve the way we review our things. If you're new here, this is Jing Zhi, founder of Allset, a physio and personal training company. Let's get into it. I'll start off with the biggest reason to buy the watch, which is value for money. I've mentioned, this watch is a direct competitor to the Garmin Venue 2 and Apple Watch, but price-wise, it will cost you at least $300 less than the other two options. To be specific, in Singapore, the GT3 retails for $298 while the Garmin Venue 2 and Apple are upwards of $599. In other words, the GT3 is half the price of the Venue 2 and Apple Watch, even though it performs better in some major aspects. To be fair, there are some reasons not to buy the watch, and I'll be mentioning them later in the video. But when I use the watch for myself, I realized those are pointers I can look past. So considering the rest of the upsides and the price point, I think it's totally a steal and one of the best deals in the smartwatch market today. To reinforce my point, here's the second reason to buy. The AI coach is great for runners, especially those who are new to running. And I say this as someone who coaches running and triathlon. A few features that I find especially useful are that the training plan adapts to you, your heart rate zones are clearly shown when you're running, the voice cues work great, you can manually adjust treadmill distance for accuracy after your workout, and that you can measure your recovery heart rate after workout. Other watches have tried to implement some of these features, but none have executed as well as Huawei in terms of user experience. For example, the Polar Vantage M2 also shows your heart rate zone in the spectrum when you work out, but not as clearly as the GT3 because it's tucked in a small corner and the screen is not as brightly lit. It also doesn't have the voice prompt functions. Meanwhile, the Garmin Venue 2 doesn't show your heart rate zone on a spectrum. Instead, it lets you set reminders for going above a certain heart rate. This might not work for beginners because they are mostly not familiar with the zones to begin with, and some might not even know of such a reminder function. On the GT3, however, you get a clear display of which zone you're in as well as clear voice prompts, and this makes a difference because it's now easier to figure out if you're running your easy run in the right zone. For context, most people want to run fast, and often they do their easy runs too fast. That leads to inefficient training or worse, injuries. When using the Huawei GT3, this becomes less of an issue because you know clearly that you're in the aerobic zone or anaerobic zone. It's literally spelled out for you. If you think about it, getting pacing right all the time is something that even a human running coach cannot help you with, but this watch can, and to me, that's a big reason to buy it. Speaking of which, the other reason it's great for runners is the heart rate and GPS accuracies of this watch, and alongside those, you get decent SpO2 accuracy too. At this point, I would like to highlight the heart rate accuracy because it's so good that fellow smartwatch reviewer, the quantified scientist, call it the new heart rate king. Go check out his video if you like a detailed breakdown of the heart rate accuracy and the test he did. In gist, it's one of the best smartwatch heart rate sensors out there. As for GPS accuracy in Singapore, I tested it for myself, and apart from small accuracy issues around high-rise flats, like these bands that show that I crossed the road without me knowing, it did great. Even at McRitchie Reservoir, where the trail has more tree cover, the GPS is still pretty accurate. When it comes to acquiring the GPS signal, it's usually fast, although I had one single incident where it took so long to acquire the signal outdoors that it went back to the home screen. But apart from that, and on the whole, I had no issues with the GPS accuracy. With that, we come to the fourth reason to buy. It's great battery life. For quick comparison, the Apple Watch leaves up to 18 hours of battery life for typical usage. The Garmin Venue 2 is at 11 days and 14 days for the GT3. To be fair, unless you're going for an Ironman or an ultra marathon, you don't need anything beyond a day, and an Apple Watch might suffice. But then again, if you're like me and you don't like to charge your watch every day, the longer the battery life, the better. Alright, reason number 5 to buy this watch, the Triathlon mode. To me, this is another reason why this watch is a steal. Unless I'm mistaken, all the other watches with open water swim and transition modes built in cost more than $500, so this clearly is the best deal for you if you are a triathlete. And the last reason to buy this watch is the looks. It's one of those watches like the Garmin Venue 2 and Apple Watch that you can wear day to day. The AMOLED display is beautiful and the build is versatile enough for both sports and boardroom meetings. Comfort-wise, I find that I can wear the watch most of the time and it doesn't bother me even when I'm typing or cooking. Those are the activities which I find myself sometimes removing a watch for, but not on this one. And the only times I take the GT3 off is when I'm sleeping or charging it. That wraps up our main reasons to buy the watch, and we now go into the reasons not to buy it. The most apparent of which is the ecosystem. It's not as robust as its competitors Apple and Garmin, and compatibility for some apps remains an issue. For example, if you're an Apple Watch user, you'll be used to the seamless sync between the Apple devices. You'll be able to see your messages, play music, download apps from the App Store, etc. Likewise, for Garmin, there's also a more established ecosystem. In my case, using the GT3 as a runner, the biggest difference here is that you can connect to popular apps like Spotify and Strava. To be fair, I tried connecting the GT3 to Strava through Huawei's HealthSync app. But even though the HealthSync app shows that my sync is successful, nothing shows up on my Strava, so there obviously is some room for improvement here. And my guess is that it will probably take a while before the Huawei's ecosystem catches up with the competitors. That aside, the second biggest reason not to buy the watch is perhaps sleep data accuracy. To be clear, this isn't something I tested but what I found out through the quantified scientist's review. He stated that they are repeatedly missing an extra REM sleep, so your recorded sleep cycles are off. I personally don't have the equipment to test sleep data accuracy yet, and I don't wear it for my sleep, so I won't comment further. Once again, I'll put a link to his video somewhere on the screen, so check that out if you're interested. The third reason not to buy is personally more relevant, and is that you can't customize the data fields that show up on each screen when you work out. There are also not as many data points available to you when you compare it to a Garmin. This becomes an issue if you want to focus on different data points for each type of runs, be it easy runs, intervals, trails, races, etc. Being able to customize what you want to see on the first screen is really helpful for specific use cases, and I think it's something Huawei can work on for the next edition of this watch. Last but not least, auto wake-up issues. To be clear, this might not even be a valid point because I'm not sure if this is specific to my particular set. The watch has been working perfectly for me for the last few weeks, but now, the screen doesn't light up when I flip my wrist, and that gets pretty troublesome. My wrist to wake setting is still on, so I'm not sure what's going on. This is hence a request that if you face similar issues, do let me know in the comment section so that others can find out whether it's something common. Otherwise, I really don't think this is a major reason at all. And with that, we have 10 reasons to buy and not to buy the watch. Let me know your thoughts or if you have any questions. I'll try to answer them not only from the perspective of a watch reviewer, but also as a founder of a physio and personal training company. Hopefully, that helps give you some unique perspectives. And if not, check out the rest of the services we provide at links below. It helps us grow the channel and you get better content. Till next time, take care.